Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the program. The stock market was off to the races. But now, is the bull race over? Well, let's get into the charts and find out. Before we do, please support our channel. We're looking for a goal of 100 subscribers. Hit the like up button. That helps get the channel out there and pass it along. And that's all we ask. So let's find out. Here's the S&P representing here's the SPY representing S&P 500. Well, this week, let's zoom in. It was off to the races, as you can see here. And then all of a sudden, the last few days, gave it all back. And if you notice, this trend line we drew weeks ago, it pulled out of the trend line and all of a sudden back into the trend line yesterday, which was Thursday, ended right there at the top of the trend line. It was in, and then all of a sudden today, a big sell-off, putting us halfway. Testing the support right here. It is testing this range right here. So that's a range we're going to have to keep to look at. Is that going to be the bottom? Is that a base? Is that support? Well, let's take a look at the 4-hour chart and see what that's telling us. Here's our 4-hour trading chart. Let's make this a little smaller. Here we go. So you can see, look at the volatility. In fact, I'm going to do this. We're going to go to a 30-minute chart. Look at some of these big moves. When Fed Powell spoke yesterday, in fact, let's bring this down to a 10-minute chart. For those of you who trade the market, man, this week was great, especially today and yesterday. So here's yesterday. Fed Powell came out. Everything was all dandy. The market shot up. Here, I'm going to zoom in on this a little more here. That's yesterday right here. 10-minute chart. So within 20 minutes, the market sold off. He was saying hikes are not out of the question yet. They're studying things. Things are a little stronger than they anticipated. And then he kind of changed his tune a little bit and then look at this SPY right back up. So here's a beautiful short, beautiful long, beautiful short. Get out here. When it breaks, support, which is right here, beautiful short entry, take profits, and out. So that was yesterday. That's what we were trading on the program. Today, immediate sell-off. We like trading the QQQ, which is a 3x leverage short position. So say, for example, when the NASDAQ goes down, the QQQ goes up. So it's an inverse ETF. And then there's also TQQQ, 2x leverage on the long side. There's UPRO for the UPRO, 3x leverage long for the S&P, and SDS, 2x inverse. Well, anyway, here we go. We sold off. So let's zoom out here. Let's take a bigger look at the picture. Let's go to a weekly time frame and see what the markets are really, what are they telling us? Well, from what I can see right now, looks like the last week there was resistance, but still bullish from the prior week. Well, this week there was definitely resistance off of 437 again, as there was last week right here. Okay, and let's draw a little mark on that too. We're going to show where there was some resistance here that needs to be addressed. So there's the resistance levels right there. Support level seems to be here. Big sell-off this week. Past 426. But it's holding this range. The next range we have is 416. If it were to go down more, it's 416, then 407. And after that, it's not looking good. So Another thing I wanted to point out, the 10-year yield has been spiking uncontrollably this week, which is not a good thing. It went over 5% or touched 5%. What was that yesterday? 499. And then all of a sudden today, today I thought I saw it touch 4945. No, it's not. It's 499. And then all of a sudden we're back to 489. So these big moves are very volatile. This is supposed to be a stable 10-year treasury is supposed to be a stable place, but it's not. So that shows there's a lot of uncertainty in the markets right now. So the charts are telling us it's weak. Okay, for the SPY, it's looking weak. Now let's take a quick look at the QQQ. Very similar to the SPY. Now, if you notice, the SPY had an uptrend. So actually something very big happened here for the QQQ. We broke out of this uptrend, then broke out of this uptrend. This was yesterday. Today, lost it. That's big. That's very important here. Notice the support here from this candle over here. We're going to draw a little square here. This is a very critical area and must be watched. The lowest point here is going to be this range, but right now we broke out of this positive range, which means right now we are out of this uptrend. And that's pretty important. Let's take a look at that, the weekly chart. We are out of the uptrend in the QQQ. Not good. So there we go. The NASDAQ is hurting here. It's going to be interesting to watch that. Is it going to hit 350, which is that line in the sand? It tried to reach it here a month ago, okay, on 9/27, and did not. Right now, it looks like it's full steam ahead. That's a huge engulfing bar for the week. Relative, a lot of volume, higher than some of these other candles, especially over here. So that tells us definitely some fear in the market. Let's check that SPY volume as well. Yeah, same with the SPY, very large volume. We're up there in volume. So there's some fear in the markets here. We're going to have to wait and see. The war, everything, so much uncertainty. Some big losers were Tesla, by the way. Let's just show you this really fast. I had showed you guys last week that we are getting these lower highs and higher lows. And we were in this wedge. Something was going to break. Well, it did break. Okay. Their earnings came out. The earnings report, which was, they missed, but not by much. Okay. Actually, well, the estimate was 0.64 cents and the actual was 66 cents. So they really didn't miss, but it wasn't as good as they wanted to. And their future outlook looked slim. The Cybertruck doesn't look as promising now for 2024. They're saying maybe by 2025 they might be able to get 200,000 trucks out. So we'll have to see. And look at these big sell-offs now. There's a big gap here. I would not be surprised. Again, like I've always said in the past, 90% chance that these gaps get filled. Okay, here's a gap. When it gapped up, it got filled on the way down. Now here was a gap on the way down, but it never did get filled. Over here it tried to, but never did get filled. So that's a huge gap down. We'll have to see what happens out. We'll have to keep an eye on that. So let's go ahead and we'll put a little circle right here. We'll see what happens. And just to summarize this all up, let's Palantir. People asking a lot about that. Look at a big takeoff, drop, or went up, and now it's coming back down. Coming back to 14, that might, it tested it an awful lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, and almost 5 actually. After a couple of days, it tested it again. So if it comes back to test 14, this may not be a bad idea for a long position. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what the sentiment is, what's going on. So there you have it, folks. I appreciate you watching. By the way, crude oil, it's holding that range between 85 83 to say 89. So it's going to be interesting. Right now it's at 89. It's going to be interesting what happens. That's got a lot to do with the outlook. But we appreciate you guys watching, and please subscribe. Thank you.